My name is Esther Cox. In 1878, I was 18 and living with my sister Olive and her husband in a small wooden house on Princess Street in a quiet town called Amherst, Nova Scotia. It was supposed to be a new beginning, after a heartbreak I rarely spoke about. But what happened that summer changed the way I saw the world forever. It began with noises. Soft, distant tapping inside the walls of my bedroom. At first, we thought it was mice, but then the tapping began to follow us. Not random, not scurrying, but rhythmic. Knock, knock. Pause. Knock, knock, knock. Like someone or something trying to talk back. One night, I woke up to the sound of scratching, right above my head. I froze, staring at the ceiling. Then my blanket suddenly slid off the bed and dropped onto the floor, slow and deliberate, as if invisible hands had pulled it. I screamed, and the entire family came rushing in. They saw it too, the blanket moving on its own, then the pillow, then the bed shaking violently. The next few nights, the noises grew louder. Sometimes it sounded like furniture being dragged across the attic floor, even though the attic was empty. Other times, I'd hear whispering, faint, cold, right next to my ear. But when I turned, there was no one. Things took a darker turn when I fell ill. Sudden fever, chills, nightmares, and then strange marks appeared on my body. One night, in front of my family, red welts formed on my skin, spelling out words none of us could understand. Olive cried out, thinking I was cursed. But the sounds in the walls answered her loud, mocking knocks that shook the pictures off the walls. We asked for help. Neighbors came, priests came, even a local doctor. Some thought I was losing my mind. Others believed the devil had marked the house. The doctor tried to calm everyone, saying it was nervous hysteria. But as he spoke, a small wooden box flew off the shelf and smashed against the wall behind him. He ran out without another word. Soon, the whole town knew. Crowds gathered outside, hoping to hear the knocks for themselves. Some nights, they did. They'd stand outside in the cold, watching the lights flicker in our windows as the walls inside came alive with pounding and voices. I became the center of a nightmare I couldn't wake from. Then came the fire. I was alone in my room when a small flame appeared on my pillow, no matches, no lamp nearby. I screamed, and my sister rushed in to see the flame vanish right before her eyes. After that, we couldn't stay there anymore. The house felt like it wanted us gone. We moved to a neighbor's house for a few weeks, hoping the thing would leave me behind. But it didn't. The knocks followed. The whispers followed. Even the temperature around me would drop so suddenly that you could see your breath in midair. One night, I asked out loud, "Who are you? What do you want?" The answer came as 3 heavy thuds on the floorboards, deliberate and close. I'll never forget that sound. It wasn't random. It was a reply. Eventually, after months of torment, it stopped just as suddenly as it had started. The house fell silent again, though it never felt truly empty. Some people said it was a ghost, a restless spirit drawn to me. Others said I was possessed. A few still insist it was all hysteria, a young girl's mind breaking from trauma. But I know what I saw, what I heard. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still hear those knocks, the soft, steady rhythm that once echoed through the walls of that little house in Amherst. Sometimes, when the wind is still and the night is quiet, it comes back. A faint tap, then another, as if it's still waiting for me to answer. I was 14 when my family moved into a small council house in Enfield, North London. It wasn't much, just a narrow brick house on Green Street, 2 floors, creaking stairs, and a constant chill that seeped through the walls even in summer. My mom, Peggy, said we were lucky to get it, but I remember the first night we slept there. It didn't feel lucky at all. The rooms felt heavy, silent, but not empty. You know that feeling when someone's standing right behind you, but no one's there? That's how it felt every night. It started with small things, knocking sounds, Light, rhythmic taps on the wall beside my bed. I thought it was my sister playing a prank, but when I checked, she was fast asleep. Then the drawers began to open on their own. At first, Mom blamed us, said we were messing about, but soon even she couldn't explain it. One night, we all heard it together, 3 knocks slow and deliberate echoing from the ceiling. Then the bed started shaking, like someone was kicking it from underneath. Mom screamed, and we ran into the hallway. Every light flickered at once, and for a second, I swear I saw a shadow tall, crooked, standing at the end of the corridor. And then, nothing. After that, the noises grew louder. Furniture moved, toys flew across the room. The crucifix on the wall twisted upside down right in front of us. The police came once after a neighbor reported our screams. They saw a chair slide across the floor by itself. The officer wrote it in his report, but couldn't explain it. That was the moment everyone realized this wasn't just our imagination. My younger sister Janet began acting strange. She would talk in her sleep, muttering words that didn't sound like English. Then, during the day, she'd say she felt cold hands grab her neck, even when no one was near her. We called a priest, then a psychic, then a team of investigators from the Society for Psychical Research. They brought tape recorders and cameras, trying to prove it was real or fake. One of them asked the spirit to show itself. Janet's face went pale, her eyes rolled back, and then she spoke in a deep, gravelly man's voice that wasn't hers. "My name is Bill," it said. "I used to live here, before I died." The room froze. Even the investigators went silent. Mom fell to her knees crying. They played the recordings later. Same voice, same words, but Janet had no memory of it. When they researched the name, they found that an old man named Bill Wilkins had died in that very house years earlier from a brain hemorrhage, sitting in the living room chair. After that, the activity turned violent. Doors slammed, objects shattered, and Janet was thrown across the room more than once. Reporters started camping outside, calling it the Enfield Poltergeist. Some believed us. Most called us liars. But no one could explain how a 12-year-old girl could throw herself across the room and twist metal furniture without touching it. The haunting went on for nearly 2 years. Some nights were quiet. Others, we'd wake up to heavy breathing near our beds, or whispers echoing through the hall. Mom started keeping the lights on all night. We barely slept. By the time it stopped, we weren't the same family anymore. The house felt drained, but not peaceful like whatever had been there just got tired of us. Years later, Janet said she still felt something watching her in the dark. She'd wake up to hear her name whispered softly in that same deep, cracked voice. Some people still say we made it all up, but those who've spent a night in that house on Green Street, they never stay till morning. I grew up in a quiet town in West Pittston, Pennsylvania. When my parents, Jack and Janet Smurl, bought our duplex in the mid-1972s, it felt like a dream come true, a cozy little home to raise us, right beside my grandparents' side of the house. But within a few months, that dream started to rot from the inside. The first signs were small. Unplugged radios turning on by themselves. Drawers slamming shut in empty rooms. We blamed it on the old wiring or the creaky foundation. That's what everyone says at first, until the explanations run out. Then came the smell. A horrible, decaying odor, like rotting meat that filled one room at a time and disappeared the moment you tried to trace it. Mom used to scrub the floors with bleach. It didn't matter. The stench always came back. At night, the noises started. Footsteps on the stairs when everyone was asleep. Whispers in the hallway that stopped the second you turned the lights on. Dad once thought it was a burglar and ran out with a bat, but there was no one. Only the faint sound of breathing in the dark. Things got worse after that. Electrical appliances blew out. Cold spots followed us through the house. Then, Mom began seeing it. A black, shapeless figure standing in the doorway of her room. Sometimes it would move. Sometimes it just watched. She didn't tell us at first, not wanting to scare anyone. But one night, Grandma on the other side of the duplex called in tears. She said something was scratching at her wall, like claws dragging slowly across the plaster. When Dad ran over, he found the wallpaper torn to ribbons, the marks deep like from an animal. But there was nothing there. We tried to stay calm. We prayed, we ignored it, but the activity grew violent. The TV lifted off the floor and crashed into the wall one evening while we were all watching. Lights flickered so violently that the bulbs shattered. Once, the dog was thrown against the door so hard that it whimpered for hours. Mom called the church. A priest came, sprinkled holy water, said prayers. For 2 days, it was quiet. Then, in the middle of the third night, every door in the house slammed at once. The priest never came back. Weeks later, Mom started feeling cold hands grab her in her sleep. She'd wake up with bruises on her arms. Dad said it was stress, until he saw it himself. He woke up one night to find a dark mass hovering above her, like smoke, but solid, breathing, pulsing. When he tried to pull her away, it vanished through the ceiling. The news spread. People said our house was cursed, built on bad ground. Some said we made it up for attention, but no one stayed inside for more than an hour without hearing something knocking, footsteps, whispers, calling their name. Eventually, demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren came. They spent nights in that house, recording sounds, trying to cleanse it. They said there were 4 spirits, 1 human, 1 violent, and 1 something darker, something that hated us. They blessed the house, prayed for hours. For a while, things quieted down. Then, one night, the worst happened. Mom woke up screaming. The room shook, furniture toppled, and the shadow came back massive, crawling along the walls like black liquid. Dad tried to drag her out, but the door slammed shut. The thing let out a sound, not a growl, not a scream, something in between. It stopped only when Dad shouted for it to take him instead. After that, we left. We moved far away, never looked back. But Mom said sometimes, even in the new house, she'd hear the same faint tapping at night. And once, in the reflection of a mirror, she swore she saw that same black figure watching her just for a second. People still debate what really happened. Some say mass hysteria, others say demons. But when you grow up, hearing the walls breathe and seeing shadows move on their own, you stop caring what people believe, because you know what you saw. And deep down, you know some things never really leave.